If the American experiment in democracy was ending, how would we know? A new argument from a respected writer says that America is becoming fascist right before our eyes. But most of us are either unwilling to accept it or too scared to confront it. Welcome to Collateral. Naomi Wolf's new book, titled The End of America, Letters of Warning to a Young Patriot, outlines 10 shifts open societies undergo in some form as they descend into fascism. She argues that all 10 are currently occurring in the United States at different rates. The first step requires the identification of a terrifying enemy and the invocation of a never-ending war. To fight it, you build a gulag with a parallel legal system and create a state-sponsored private military which is above the law and which does the state's murderous bidding both at home and abroad. Concurrently, an internal massive surveillance system is created, in part to harass and infiltrate citizens groups who oppose the fascist drift. To show dissenters you mean business, you arrange for some arbitrary detentions of supposed dissenters. Pretty soon people will get the message, and if they don't, you target key dissenters directly, stripping them of their jobs if they threaten to speak out. The press will get the message too, and if they don't, the ones who fail to comply may find themselves in jail for violating the new rules. Other journalists may turn up dead in alarming numbers while reporting on imperial aggression. Even when reporters avoid such a fate, they still have to digest a steady diet of lies coming out of Washington.
The Iraqi regime possesses biological and chemical weapons.
The intelligence that we were operating off was correct.
The quality of our intelligence operation, I think we're better than anybody else.
We gathered a lot of intelligence.
In time, all of this results in a climate where all dissent can be cast as treason, and any attempt to confront the criminality of the state can be cast as terrorism. In fact, you don't even have to do anything anymore to become an enemy of this state. It's enough to simply be considered a threat to be declared an enemy combatant, then off you go. The final step in the descent into fascism is what the other 9 are all working to enable, the suspension of the rule of law. Thanks in part to the John Warner Defense Authorization Act of 2007, the long-standing Posse Comitatus Act is now defunct. Right now, any national disaster could trigger martial law, and the president could then use the military for domestic law enforcement against the wishes of state governors. The legal framework is now in place. It won't come as obviously as this, but the threat is real. Wolf rightly points out that there is no help to be gotten from outside entities. The restoration of constitutional government in the U.S. can only come from one source, the people. There are no saviors, not the Congress, not the European Union, not even Al Gore himself. There's no one but us. It's not required that you buy Wolf's book in order to hear what she's saying. The UK Guardian published an article back in April with a good discussion of her 10 points. And there are plenty of other sources from which you can get a similar message. The important thing is to realize the predicament we're in and start doing something about it. That means start talking to the people around you. Get to know your neighbors as citizens. Talk to them calmly about what's going on. Because if they don't hear it from you, they might not hear it from anyone. Hope to see you next week.